Greetings and summer salutations, my friends. My name is Bryan Flores. You're joining me at Valley Plaza Park in North Hollywood, California, in beautiful Los Angeles, California. That's my bike. And that's a trash can. There's a lot of dirt around me. So today we're going to talk about a little bit about me, my family, my upbringing, my educational, professional journey, and the work I do with the Forest Service now. So without further ado, here it goes. Valley Plaza Park is located in North Hollywood, California, right next to the 170 freeway, a couple miles from the Burbank Airport, so you might hear some overhead while I'm talking. I used to come here a lot as a kid. There's other sides to the park. I used to go there as a kid with my family. The youngest of 5, my brother Oscar, my sister Magali, my sister Maria Paola. They're 8, 6, 4, 3 years older than I am, respectively. I'm the youngest of 5. My mom's name is Carmina. My dad's name is Roberto. They divorced when I was 12. They're both immigrants from Mexico, from the state of Jalisco. I used to visit a lot as a kid, once, twice a year. So in that regard, I guess I would claim some kind of binational identity. I enjoyed it a lot. Pretty much my entire family resides in Mexico, my extended family. So growing up, it was just my siblings, my parents, and I. So it was interesting in that regard. I grew up skateboarding. It's very influential to who I am. Very influential to how I see with the world, engage with the world. I look at a bench, piece of concrete no one would care twice to think about, and I'm like, oh, that's my stuff. How good does it grind? Is it wax? Is it whatever? Biking is more recent in my life, but it's also opened new ways for me to engage with my community. It's fun. Not too much infrastructure around to have that fun, but it is what it is. Growing up, the area was pretty low income, predominantly Central American, Mexican, an enclave, if you will, in that regard. So a lot of people got by without ever having to speak English. Nowadays, my area is actively being gentrified, so it looks different compared to 10, 15 years ago. So eventually, growing up how I did, not too many resources, not too much access to nature. I'm straddled by all kinds of mountains around me, but I was never up there as a kid. My family and I were never up there when I was younger. It was largely inaccessible culturally, socially. Just didn't know people were up there hiking, biking, having fun. So it's more of a thing that I've done as an adult, that I've discovered as an adult. I did well in school, so I eventually went to college. I went to UC Davis up near Sacramento, here in California. Studied environmental science, got a minor in GIS. Being there after 4 years was pretty tough for me. My mental health was compromised at various points, and being a person of color in a predominantly white institution didn't help anything. So by the time I got to the end of my studies, I said, well, what is next? I wasn't sure. I decided to stay another year. I studied GIS, eventually graduated, came home when the world ended in March of 2020, and I've been here for 4 years. So after graduating, I had a couple research jobs that were short. They were internships. Then eventually I signed on with the resource assistance program in 2020 into 2021. That was an interesting experience. I worked with some folks in the Washington office. But after that, I decided I needed a break. So I took a long break. And once my break was coming to an end, I decided, hey, let me get my name back into the swing of things. Let me get a job. That's what I'm trying to say. And the cool thing about the resource assistance program is because I completed it, I had 2 years of direct hiring authority, 2 years of non-competitive status. So it was a golden ticket into the agency. And eventually I got an email, a RAP program, knocking at my door again. I said, let's check it out. What do they got? One of the positions was with the New York City Urban Field Station. I applied, interviewed, got it, and it was great. You know, I became a professional nerd, if you will. Did a lot of data science stuff I had never done before. Used my brain in ways I never had before. Working with Michelle Johnson, Erica Svensson, Lindsay Campbell, other fine folks of the stewardship team. And it was a great 11 months. Eventually my contract ended. Took a little bit to sign on permanently, but as of April of this year I did. Most of the work I did then and most of the work I do now is related primarily with StewMap. Not sure if y'all heard about it. You soon will hear about it if you haven't. But the Stewardship Mapping and Assessment Project aims to survey and get a census of different landscapes with regard to who's working there, what community orgs are doing work, what nonprofits are activating their community members. So StewMap's trying to figure out who's where are they working, who's working with who. So I've been primarily on the back end of that, doing the data stuff, the visualization stuff. So if you want to be a nerd and talk about that, reach out, let me know. So it's been really interesting being with an agency like the Forest Service for all kinds of reasons, but one of them especially being the fact that it's nationwide. So I'm connected with all kinds of people, and the work that is done within the Forest Service it affects a lot of folks. I, growing up, would have never imagined that an agency like the Forest Service, one, existed, two, had anything to do with me being in an urban area, because it's called the Forest Service. But it does. It really does. And, you know, the work I primarily do, and a lot of folks in my project area primarily do, is related to urban areas and urban populations and how people are connecting with nature, how they see themselves in nature, in their communities. And it really is validating to see some of the research that people do, hear some of the research that people do. Because as a kid, I never would have thought that, hey, maybe I can quantify some of these disparities I'm noticing as I'm skating around town. You know, once I cross this street, things look a little different. So I'm just rambling at this point, so thank you for listening. I'd be more than glad to connect with any of y'all if you would like to. I'll offer my contact info. And yeah, thank you for listening. Again, we're at Valley Plaza Park next to the 170 freeway. Have a good one.